That's it, 2019 is done. So I was sitting at the immigration office yesterday thinking about what the heck I should do for the final vlog in 2019. Ideas ranged from doing a summary of the business and channel so far, over to deep dives into our marketing stacks, and I thought, you know what, why don't we just condense it, keep it simple, 37 biggest lessons learned from 2019. Let's go ahead and jump in. And after this first one, I'm actually going to spend the next couple of points on software specifically, because from analytics, I know that's something you really care about. So stick with me on this first one, and then we'll get right into all of the software I actually use and recommend. So the first thing is identifying the thing that has brought you from 0 to 1, and then continuing that from 1 to 3 to 4 to 5. And this is because success is repetitive. I think a big mistake that I made is once I reached a certain level of success in my business, I all of a sudden thought I had to change what I was doing or the way I was operating to continue to scale, as opposed to doubling down on what was working. So if you have something that's working, double down on it. Just because you have more income, you have more views, subscribers, your email list has grown, doesn't mean all of a sudden all the strategies change. It's the same strategies, keep it simple, just keep doing what's working. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the software. So I'm gonna talk over myself because I'm excited. So number one, email autoresponder. We've played with it a lot, we've tested a lot, we've done a lot of videos. At the end of the day, right now, MailerLite is on top for two reasons. Number one, it has a free plan, which is important to a lot of new solopreneurs. And number two, for another $10 a month, you have a landing page builder that is good enough to allow you to collect leads. It's not going to be the best, it's not going to compete with LeadPages and Unbounce. It's not the best out there, but it is good enough for you to start collecting leads and for things to start working in your lead generation process. Now, the runner-up would be ConvertKit. We actually still use ConvertKit for a lot of our email, and we're just slowly moving over to MailerLite, but I'll get to why you might actually want to keep ConvertKit or go with ConvertKit in a moment here. So number two, landing page builder. If you don't use MailerLite, then LeadPages or Unbounce is going to be the top two. I only recommend using Unbounce if you're going to be doing landing pages for a bunch of clients. Otherwise, LeadPages seems to offer the most features, bang for your buck, and just simple ease of use. Number four here now, we have the membership sites. This was an absolute mess this year. If you missed it, I left OptimizePress because all of a sudden it magically stopped working. I didn't have time to fit this into a blog, or a vlog, but Thrive Apprentice also gave us headaches twice. We had one where the backend database got all screwed up and didn't properly connect with MemberPress. And then number two, we had content just disappear out of nowhere. It was just like, where'd the content go? I don't know, but nobody has their content anymore. And so for those two reasons, and also MemberPress being an absolute terribly designed, based upon what our developers have told me, terribly designed plugin, I'm actually going to start recommending using Teachable or Thinkific. I know this is a huge pivot, but as you'll see, I'm actually starting to pivot away from WordPress altogether. So Teachable or Thinkific, although there's a big asterisk here because ConvertKit is the only autoresponder that works with both of those solutions. MailChimp also works with Teachable, but for now, we're actually just stuck using Zapier to connect them. So not the best ideal solution, but that's where we're at based upon the experience and the headaches. So number five, best shopping cart softwares. ThriveCart and SamCart are still on top, and this goes with my theme of just starting to move away from WordPress because of all of the headaches we've had to deal with. Even though we have the budget to pay the developers, it's still a ridiculous amount of time, and we like moving fast. So we're going to pay more so we can move faster. ThriveCart, of course, $600 one-time fee. Awesome solution. And if you're using MailerLite, you can actually create a landing page and make it your sales page, and then have that page go over. Are you kidding? Okay, there we go. Lights are back, and then we'll have that page go over to ThriveCart or SamCart. So SamCart actually released a new pricing tier at $50 a month, and ThriveCart will directly integrate with Teachable. It does not have a direct integration with Thinkific at this point, but SamCart should be able to work with both of those membership platforms. Now, the next two couple of softwares deals with actually running your business, like making sure that everyone, either yourself or your team, stays organized and your files don't go missing. So number 6 is going to be the best file cloud manager, and that's going to be Google Drive. Once you pay for 5 different seats or licenses, which comes out to about $86 to $95 a month, you're going to have unlimited storage, which is awesome and fantastic, because if you're using something like Dropbox, then you have to pay for the storage for each individual person. And as you can imagine, we have terabytes of just raw videos, because these videos are never done in one take. So Google Drive has been a tremendous asset, or Google G Suite for Business has been a tremendous asset to us. Of course, we use the $12 a month plan because I think all of those extra features and protections are worth it, especially if you're going to be bringing in freelancers on and off. You really need to be able to control what people can and cannot see to just protect your intellectual property. So number 7, best project manager, I still think is Asana. However, number 8, the best team manager is Basecamp. Okay, yes, this sounds like a cop-out, but just bear with me. Something that I really liked about Asana is, or still like about Asana, is it's extremely organized and awesome for a type A personality like myself who thinks in lists and projects. And even though we didn't pay so we could see the Gantt charts, if you're paying to see the Gantt charts, I think it's just absolutely amazing for project management, no matter how big your project is. We were able to run our entire company using just Asana, and we were just using the free plan. We didn't even bother with the workflows and the Gantt charts and all that other fun stuff that you can do. However, my business partner Jesse does not think like me, and he really liked Basecamp. We actually both worked at an agency in the past that used Basecamp, and we both found that Basecamp does a really good job of creating a good environment for back and forth, where Asana does not. So Asana is great because it's a very transactional, where Basecamp is a lot more open. It doesn't have as many features by any means necessary, but we are going to be moving over to Basecamp because it's also going to allow us to easily manage all of our clients as we continue to grow, because Basecamp has the ability for us to add clients in, and it's going to allow us to put all of our internal trainings inside of Basecamp. Something that was really hard for us in Asana is I would have 20 or literally 20 different links of tutorials and documentations and files. Plus, the UI in Basecamp is much more inviting, and we're going to be able to put all of our internal team trainings inside of Basecamp, so we're going to cut down on the number of Google Drives we have to keep track of who has access to what. And so that does it for all of the specifics of the software that we are or aren't using and why we've changed over the year. And so this is going to lead me into number 9, where WordPress is not for funnels. It's hard for me to quantify how much momentum, I'm not just talking about time, energy, money, just straight up momentum has been lost because of all of the issues we've run into trying to run traffic and trying to run a full funnel through using just WordPress. Now, if you have the budget to work with a professional, or you have the budget to hire a developer who actually understands the entire process, which is something that we've also struggled with, we've actually found we struggled with a lot, then it's probably not worth it. Using some combination of MailerLite and ThriveCart and then Teachable or Thinkific, you're going to be so much faster and agile than compared to WordPress. Another big issue, one of the reasons people say WordPress is so great for everything that you're doing, is that you own it and you control it. Well, I'm here to tell you, when you're using something like Beaver Builder, Divi Themes, Elementor, Thrive Themes, OptimizePress, they're all page builders, they're all designed so you don't have to use, the actual HTML and all that complicated stuff nobody wants to deal with, right? Well, the problem is if you want to switch from Thrive to Elementor, from OptimizePress to Beaver Builder, from Divi to Thrive, you're rebuilding all your pages anyway. So we found that the switching cost, time, and headache was just as arduous going from one plugin or theme to another as it was from going from one software to another. The only difference is we have the added headache of dealing with WordPress as opposed to software 1 works, software 2 works. We don't have to worry about any of the back end or any of the integrations or how this plugin doesn't work with that plugin and this theme breaks this plugin. It's just an absolute mess. So we're actually going to move forward and only have our content on WordPress. WordPress was designed for a blog. We're going to have it our blog, and then we're going to do all of our sales funnel and traffic and lead generation using third-party softwares that are actually hosted. So that leads me into number 10. For software as a service, for funnels, you don't have to break the bank spending $100 to $300 a month for a all-in-one solution. Really what we found is all you need is a landing page, 5 to 7 emails, and then a checkout sequence. And that's it. And I think I'm getting my numbers mixed up here, but that's okay. We're going to call this number 10. And MailerLite will allow, I keep going back to them because I want to keep it simple for you. MailerLite will allow you to generate leads for $10 a month. You just pay for their landing page solution. You'll have your email automation, and then if you want to pay for ThriveCart or SamCart, you can. Otherwise, you can use something like Wave Checkouts, which is free from Wave Accounting, and you'll be able to deliver your product or service. Now, number 11 deals with Thrive themes, and I am actually no longer going to be using or recommending them. And there's 2 main reasons for this. Number 1, the comments I've been getting on my negative review of Thrive themes have continued to accumulate on one particular point, and that is the customer service, which is something that I found really annoying, but because I was paying somebody else to deal with all that, I didn't really care. But when it comes to me recommending a software for you to use, I'm going to assume that you don't have some, great developer in the background who's going to fix all those problems that you don't have to deal with, because you're just getting started and you're almost a solopreneur. So you need something that's actually going to work out of the box, and when it doesn't work, you need someone to actually support it. So that's reason number 1. I'm moving away from Thrive themes. Reason number 2 just deals with it keeps breaking. It keeps breaking. I can't count how many times I've gotten an email, or even my wife will say, hey, I checked your site the other day and it's not formatting right on mobile. Actually, it's still broken on mobile because I'm done, paying someone to try to go in and continue to fix it. I don't know why it's causing so much headaches now, but just a year ago, it was fine, flawless, and great, and this is just how software works. Okay, so for number 11, let's switch gears and get off of the sales funnel and software stuff. So we've covered a lot of that sales funnel quadrant. Let's talk about us in terms of as entrepreneurs and people who want to get a lot of things done. And so this next one for number 11, I'm going to call your 5 golden hours, or 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. are your golden hours. I totally messed that up. There needs to be a much more click-worthy name, but I digress. Essentially, over the past year, I've tried several different schedules. And even though I don't have to wake up at 4:30 or 4, I go back and forth, but I think 4:30 is going to be where my sweet spot is, where 5 to 10 a.m., if I can get just deep, focused work for those 5 hours, I find that the amount that we move forward in terms of getting towards our actual goals, as opposed to just putting out all the fires that inevitably come with running an agency and a YouTube channel, we move so much faster. So I think in the past I've been a little non-confrontational when people say, oh, I'm a night owl, or oh, I work best from 2 to 3 p.m. or something like that. And I think I'm really going to say, based upon what I've seen, that if you really want to get deep, uninterrupted work done, and you actually want to tap into those alpha brainwaves, I won't go into all that fun stuff, it's just science has shown that you're going to be much more primed and ready to do that best work right after you wake up, because the longer you wait throughout the day, the harder it is to get into that flow state. Now, when it comes to working late at night and you kind of get that second kick, that's actually a completely different set of brainwaves and a completely different kind of energy tank and biology that's going on compared to how you work in the flow state that you get into in the morning. So for the night owls out there, it is 2 very different things. If you find this one works better, awesome, but science is showing that the flow state you get into in the morning is actually going to be much better for you long term than that kind of second kick you get late at night as a night owl. Now, the number 13 here is going to deal with music triggers. Now, one of the very first productivity videos I posted on this channel dealt with using music as a way to get into that flow state or get into a deep work mindset. And this comes after the research, of course, if you've heard of the Pavlov's dog effect, where he would ring the bell and then the dog would start salivating because he knew it was dinner time. He or she knew it was dinner time, and then eventually you could just ring the bell and the dog would salivate even though there was no food coming at all. And so you can essentially do that with your brain and work. So something that I've done over this past year is I actually have specific albums and playlists that I only listen to when I'm doing a specific type of work. This is something that helped me a lot get through college as someone who had ADD, and this year I've just gone much heavier in on it. I haven't talked about it because YouTube algorithm tells me that apparently nobody cares, although it is extremely important. So the music I listen to when right before I'm recording a video like this, or the music I listen to when I am doing copywriting, or when I'm off building an Excel sheet, all of those situations are different, and I have a different set of music and songs for those situations and for that type of work, and I don't ever listen to the music outside of that. Just think of it like your workout mix, except instead of working out, you're actually working on growing your business. So number 14 is going to be your one thing time. I know I'm a broken record here, but I cannot overstate how powerful the concept of zeroing in on that one thing that is going to make everything else easier in your business has really, really propelled this channel and my business forward this year. I think I'm a little jumbled there, I missed a couple verbs, but essentially what I'm saying here is find your one thing. Find the one thing that you're gonna do with those 5 golden hours in the morning, and then do it every single day. Do it as much as possible. For me, it was making content for pretty much the entire year. And when I talk about in number 1, where I talked about I tried to start doing other things, the second half of my day, I started doing other things that weren't really as important when I should have just given more time to my one thing, which was making videos. So number 15 here, we're going to switch again, and let's go ahead and start talking about servicing clients. So go ahead and hit that like button if you're still watching. I know this is just this might be coming across as word vomit, but I really just wanted to get literally everything I learned out. So number 15 here, almost halfway, client happiness. Something that I've learned painfully is there's a huge discrepancy between what you think you're doing in terms of delivering success to a client and what your client actually expects. And something we've had clients where we have just knocked it out of the park and they are still super unhappy with us and the relationship didn't work out. And we have had clients where we've absolutely bombed, we've failed, it didn't work out. We gave a refund or we gave a partial refund, and they are more happy and satisfied with us than the people who we knocked it out of the park for. And that just comes down to expectations. I don't really have a huge kind of like, this is how you figure out what your client's expectations are, because even when you ask them, they're not always going to, they might tell you one thing, but it's really another. But just remember that the key performance indicators that you set for yourself aren't always going to represent your client actually being happy with you and what you do. Which leads me into number 16, and that is digital marketing expectations for 2019 and 2020. Something else that we ran into a lot as an agency is, even though we don't promise immediate results, we don't promise ridiculous like costs per lead, or we don't promise like you're going to get 50% conversion rates on your landing page by working with us, because that's just ridiculous on the first try. A lot of people still expected us to hit a home run, and I think this goes down to there's a lot of marketing messages out there to sell high-level masterminds and courses, which I don't have a problem with when they're actually valuable, just a lot of them are junk. But that messaging out there, I think, has infected a lot of our minds to think that there's someone out there who's getting instantaneous results. And that's just not true. Because when you go to a landing page that says, I spent, X number of dollars on ads, or I'm getting X number of leads for, $3 per click, or whatever it is, nobody ever talks about the months or hundreds of thousands of dollars or just thousands of dollars it took to get there. And I think I'm a little guilty of this as well, because when I make a vlog talking about 50-cent views, I don't always tell you that it took 3 or $3,000 or $4,000 in ad spend to figure out the right combination to get there. It's kind of like one of those Instagram posts where there's this giant iceberg underwater and all you see is the little top. When people are talking about their results, all you're seeing is the supposed little top. You don't see all of the time, effort, energy, and most importantly, money it took to actually get there. And number 17 is going to go back to dealing with clients, and that is, I think, unless you think you don't know who your ideal client is yet, don't take anyone on who you have any inkling in your gut that says, I don't think this is going to be a good fit, because you're going to regret it. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Number 18, invest in people. I think up until this year, I was infected by that 4-hour work week mindset. So I actually technically didn't read the entire book. I just read summaries and then I skimmed through it in 4-hour work week style because I think it was way too long of a read for the concept. But one of the biggest things in there was talking about, of course, outsourcing and delegation, bringing your time down. And I think bringing your time down so that you can spend more time on your one thing and expand those 5 golden hours to closer to 6 or 7, and that being your entire workday would be awesome. But one of the things that I found has really been instrumental in allowing us to go from a solopreneur operation to an actual real business has been shifting our mindset away from outsourcing and towards team building. And so essentially the difference is outsourcing is thinking of everyone who's there as a freelancer. You know what? Oh, we just hire them to do this task and they're just like a cog in the machine. As opposed to, no, this is an actual person and we're hiring as if they're going to be here for a few years, hopefully longer, and actually having dialogue and opening up opportunities for them to tell you what they do and don't like about your work as working with you, as opposed to just like, oh, well, you know what? You write blog posts and that's all that you do. Now, number 19 and 20 are going to be short and sweet. Number 19, done is better than perfect. Our website breaks all the time. We send emails with spelling mistakes. We have things that just don't work right sometimes, and life goes on, but at least it's actually complete. Number 20, perfection is the enemy of momentum, and it's rarely rewarded. So remember that you can always go back and fix something, but having it actually, if you move forward with having everything as a rough draft mindset, then you're going to be able to move a lot faster, and when something breaks, you just go back and fix it. Or you think you can improve something, go back and improve it. But it's always better to go back and be improving something as opposed to not having something done because you think you're going to get a bigger reward from it. And this is specifically talking about products and services. So we will launch products, or we will start providing services even before we think we have it all figured out or it's absolutely perfect, because what we think is perfection and what we think is a rough draft, surprise, surprise, our clients are actually very happy with. So number 21 is you need feedback. Now I know this is hard if you're still a solopreneur, and this is part of why I made the big decision to actually bring on a co-founder this year. And I'll just share a quick story from a couple weeks ago, because we are currently working on revamping or putting together a much more perfected version, because we already have a rough draft, but a much more perfected version of our sales funnel foundation. That's all the information you'd give to a copywriter in order to write the sales copy for a webinar or the ads for whatever client, or if it's an internal service of ours. So long story short, I'm just banging my head against the wall, looking at Google Docs upon Google Docs, documentations, examples, and templates, and going, what on earth am I missing? And so I just put it in our meeting notes, and my business partner, Jesse, goes through it. And we get to that, and before I can say, dude, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm just missing this giant piece, I can't figure out what I'm missing here, he goes, he because he knows I tend to do this, he goes, yeah, you're beating a dead horse here. Like I've already taken the information and built the landing page, and XYZ is already working on the emails. I'm like, what? I thought there was this big missing piece. I thought there was something else I needed. He's like, no, we're done. You're done. We're already on the next step. So let's catch up. So I just share that story to show that, number one, I still fall into the perfection trap, and number two, sometimes you just need a second set of eyes to tell you, yeah, no, you're done, you're good. Let's go and move on. So 22 here, I did actually give this away, but please still count it so we keep our 37 and I don't have to come up with something off the top of my head. Funnels are simple. Landing page, offer page, 5 to 7 emails, and then a checkout sequence. Done. So it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. You don't need segmentation, you don't need auto filters or triggers or any of that fun fancy stuff unless you have thousands of people coming to your landing pages every day. So number 23, webinars are dead. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to call it. Webinars are dead. I think the make money online niche, whether you think they're fake gurus or you think they're just masters of money, whatever your opinion of them, they have destroyed webinars. I think a lot of people have figured out what the software looks like, and there have been enough offers of live webinars that are actually not live. And so there's actually another great YouTuber, his name is Miles Beckler, who called this, I think, over a year ago. But I was really on board with this whole webinar thing. I really thought that we would actually be able to make it work and it wouldn't become synonymous with sales pitches, but then again, he definitely turned out to be right. So I think webinars equal sales pitches, and so what we're starting to do is just say our webinar is on demand, and we're eventually going to move away from just using that word altogether and call it like a free training or free master class or something. Of course, the problem with master class is typically there's a subconscious negative association with class because it means school, and school doesn't necessarily mean fun or equal work. So, well, that's the only reason I don't use the term master class. Might seem silly, but hey, that's copywriting for you. So number 24, YouTube video wins. YouTube is still the king of video. Other platforms are pushing video. They're trying to make video one of their focal points or selling points. But at the end of the day, as long as you have a feed-based social platform, you're not going to enjoy the benefit of having a video that continues to perform over and over and over again. If a social platform or any platform for that matter doesn't operate based upon search, it's not going to be a long-term sustainable strategy. You're going to have to keep feeding the machine like you do with Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So number 25, this is back to kind of internal stuff. There's always one more thing to do. The to-do list is never over. It never stops. You're never going to have a Friday night where you turn off your laptop and you turn off your computer and you go, I'm done. I'm awesome. There's always, it's only, I'm done. It's awesome. I've crushed it for this week. And so something that's helped me mentally is break down things into actual time periods so that when I get something done at the end of the week or the end of the quarter, I can actually pat myself on the back and say, okay, we did it, as opposed to, yeah, but there's this, and that we didn't do yet. So part of your job as an entrepreneur isn't to get everything done, it's to decide what's going to get done, and most importantly, what's not going to get done. Number 26, real simple, UTM parameters with Google Analytics absolutely rule. They are super awesome. You can check out the tutorial on this video or on this channel about Google Analytics, and that will give you everything you need to set up UTM parameters, which leads me into number 27, and that is the plugin Pretty Links for WordPress is an absolute just savor of everything, because what Pretty Links allows you to do is it's like having your own Bitly where you can create your own short links. The difference, though, is you can change the final URL of your short link. So, for example, there were a couple of softwares that we offer as affiliates that change their affiliate system. So, instead of having to find every single video and every single comment where we had our affiliate link, we could just go into Pretty Links, we could change the final URL, and it automatically redirects all of the traffic anywhere that we've ever posted about that particular software to the correct page. And we're actually also able to do this with our landing page. When we moved from OptimizePress to MailerLite, we had to have a different landing page URL. So we just put the new landing page URL, using UTM parameters, of course, into Pretty Links, and we were done, good to go. We didn't have to go searching for any videos. Saved us, I don't know, hours if not days of work and searching. So number 28 deals with actual video production, and that is lights are more important than the camera. Speaking of lights going out earlier in this video. So when it comes to your camera, Most cell phones now are good enough for you to actually start recording videos. So you just need your cell phone, a tripod, a lav mic, and then spend the rest of your money on lights. Seriously, that's it. The camera should actually be the absolute last thing you buy, and you can actually get away with just using a webcam like this one. Hopefully it's in view. There we go. So number 29, cut your intro. This is something that I really struggled with because when I first started making YouTube videos, I would have people in the comments say video starts at 2 minutes and 15 seconds because I spent the first 90 seconds just rambling on and on because I was super excited and I wanted to share all of the backstory. Nobody cares about it. When they see your video title, they see what's in your thumbnail, they click on it, they want that. So give them that first. Yes, there are techniques to open loops and maybe put the big reveal halfway through the video so you improve your watch time, but long story short, just get straight into it. And number 30, the Insta party is over. We've tried multiple things on Instagram this year. None of them worked, and I'm just gonna call it and say, as a small entrepreneur or business owner, doesn't make sense to try actually growing on Instagram, especially now that they're looking to slowly phase out the likes. When you remove that social proof as an organic poster, then it just becomes about advertising a number of views and clicks. So I think it's, or I should say swipe ups now because it's on Instagram, views and swipe ups. So I think Instagram's still going to be a great part of your advertising, not so much content if you haven't already gotten started. Number 31, productize your service. Something that we spun our wheels a lot at the beginning of this year was we pretty much just took every marketing project that came across our desk. Well, number one, we kind of needed the money. We were just getting started. But number two, the problem with that was we didn't actually get to leverage or learn from what we previously did. So now that we've really zeroed in and we only do 3 or 4 things, we can make sure we do them really well and we can actually focus on improving our process so that when someone comes in, a new client comes in, we have a standardized onboarding process. We have a standardized process for everything that we do so that the client gets a better product and it doesn't take us as much time to service our clients so we can actually have more. And this kind of ties into midway through the year, we made the decision to go smaller and focus on smaller clients and smaller projects as opposed to trying to go for those huge big ticket ones that were always just custom work and it was really, really arduous. So number 32, back to being personal, kind of personal stuff. I found that 10 hours a day is pretty much the max you can do on actual work. Now I know this can be a touchy subject for people because there are so many comments where I work 80 or 90 hours a week. No, you don't. The data says that you do not. Me personally, I literally went through and I totaled up all of my time blocks for the entire year and my average workday was 9.5 hours over the entirety of 2019. We're in 2019. I keep doing 2020 stuff, so I keep wanting to say 2020. So over 2019, my average workday was 9.5 hours. Now, you may be able to do more, you may be able to do less, but really I found that 10 hours of actual deep intellectual work where you're creating is the max you can go, is 10 hours. So if a lot of your day is talking to people or it's replying to comments or it's emails, like social interactions, you're going to a networking event, well then yeah, you can work more because that's not going to drain your energy and your brain's capacity. There have been several studies that show you only actually have 4 hours of deep work in you. I've kind of pushed the limits a bit. I can go 5 to 6 before my brain just completely, shuts down. So total, I would say keeping your hours 10 hours a day max, 50 hours per week. No, it doesn't really work if you want to do a 15-hour day and then follow it up with some lower days because you will have just drained your battery too much, which leads me into number 3, you need something to recharge. Personally for me, it's going for a swim. Even if it's 20 minutes, I get to go for a swim, I just plug in, I listen to my swimming playlist, and I don't think about anything, and I just get to glide for 20 minutes, and it's sometimes the most blissful part of my day. So as long as you can find something that allows you to recharge, television and YouTube watching doesn't necessarily count, just based on what your brain's doing in the background. As long as you can find that you're actually going to be able to consistently do close to that 10-hour a day mark, even though I don't recommend doing that for years and years on end. So number 34 deals with reflection, something that I was really strict about this year until I started traveling. So I failed the last 2 months, but until I started traveling, I would always go back and do a monthly reflection where I would look at all of my time blocks, I would look at my previous month's goals, and I would just assess where things did and did not work. And this also allowed me to put my head down and really focus and work through the month. And then it was like coming up for a breath of air and making sure that while I was tunneling, I was actually going in the right direction. So that's something I definitely recommend. Number 35 here, my voice is getting a little hoarse. We're wrapping up. $1 a day. $1 a day is all you need to be in the advertising game. I really think that as an entrepreneur business owner, even if you have a really small budget, take $1 per day and put it on the platform that you're focused on. So if you're focused on Instagram or Facebook, $1 a day, Facebook or Instagram ads. If you're focused on YouTube or you're just doing blogging, then $1 a day on display or search for your blog, $1 a day for your YouTube channel. And this is something that I think is just more of a psychological benefit than it is anything else, because it forces you to operate as an actual business that's in the game. Because when you are actively spending money on advertising, even if it's only $1 a day, your entire perspective and the entire way you run your business and build your business is going to change, because you know that you are actively paying to get customers. So even if you don't have an offer yet, then just drive traffic to a piece of content. Number 36, almost done. Batch your work. So something that I tried at the beginning of the year was a schedule where I would just do 2 videos every morning, 5 days a week. And I found that I was actually a lot more efficient and effective when I would take an entire day to do just one task. So whether that's content creation or copywriting or client work or putting all of your meetings on one day, I find that I'm a lot more effective when I batch work as much as possible, just like what I did a few weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago now, I should say, when I went through and planned out all 225 of our YouTube videos for 2020 in 1 week. There's just something where you're actually able to be much more efficient in your work because you're not switching between tasks. Your brain can focus on that one task and really just focus to make sure it gets done. So number 37, thank you so much for sticking with me. You're not one funnel away, you're not one product away, you're not one client away, you're not one video away or ad campaign away. I think the dramatic effect was ruined with my tongue twisted on the last one. But the point is, there's no quantum leap here. There's nothing that you're going to do that next week, next month is going to magically bring you to the success that you're looking for. Building a successful business, being successful with your digital marketing is about showing up every day and just putting in the work. It's about making sure that you are consistent and you're just putting points on the board. That's it. That's it. It's not trying to hit home runs. You just first base every day. That's all you have to do. And that accumulation, that snowball effect of developing your skills, of having content or advertising out there, of having those things just sit there and consistently begin to grow, begin to rank, begin to better understand your customer over time. That's what's ultimately going to make you successful. And looking for those opportunities or those shortcuts are pretty much just a distraction. So I wanted to leave you with that. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for actually making it through all the entirety of this video. If you did, go ahead and comment with "I'm building the business I love" to let me know that you actually made it this far. And I sincerely want to thank you for all of your support, your comments, and of course your watch time and attention over this year in terms of helping me grow this channel. And I sincerely hope all of the insights I've shared have at least allowed you to sidestep some of the silly mistakes that I've made. I think 2020 is going to be fantastic, and you're really going to like some of those 225 video ideas that are in the pipeline. So until next year, keep building the business you love.